Hey there everyone, and welcome to a new little video I've decided to try and make called, well, Tarkov tips really. Just little tips, little shorter videos where I go over some tips in Tarkov, because my first kind of idea for this would be, because I've had a couple people ask me, it's like, I don't really understand your inventory, where do things go, why do you sort things out this way? And stuff like that. So this is what the first video in Tox's Tarkov tips is gonna go, I guess. Name pending, it might change. So here's my stash right now. We've got my loadout that is kind of a loadout for doing Mosin task. Just standard affair. I like to keep my PMC loaded up, even if I'm not going in a raid and I'm doing stuff in the hideout or whatever, just so that I save some room in my stash. So at the top of my stash, as much as I do have the Edge of Darkness edition, so my stash is the biggest it possibly can be from the start. You can upgrade this in the hideout though, so everyone can have this size of stash. I like to keep the top empty, so that it's easier for me to sort through loot I get from a raid. So all this space allows me to dump everything out of my bags, out of my gamma container, stuff like that. Just over here, and be able to see it easier. It also gives me enough space for when I'm disassembling weapons, because, well, there's a lot of weapon parts in this game, and you can make slightly more profit from just disassembling it and selling it to the different traders. Now, if we scroll down a little bit, this is my main stuff. So we've got our dog tag case, where we store our dog tags, because I like to sell them in bulk. These ones at the bottom are just dog tags of friends that I've got, just if they die or stuff. We've got our wallets. I mainly have these to keep my key cards in for when I do labs. Most of them are empty right now, but that's fine. Our key tool, we started this because of not the year just passed, but the years before's New Year's gift. You start with a little key tool, so it's good to be early on, so you can store your keys. So I'm just storing some old customs keys in there that sometimes I use and sometimes I don't. Got our money case. Pretty self-explanatory. We keep our money in here. I keep my dollars and euros at the bottom, just because rubles are the ones you have more of. I've got my stuff items case, so at the moment I'd keep sugar in here when I get it, I keep my moonshine in here, and then if I decide to collect my bitcoins from the hideout, I throw them in here too. It's just a container that's bigger on the inside, like most of these things. I keep my raid meds here, so my IFAKs and my morphines, because that's what I like to run when I go on a raid. I try to keep this as full as possible, but sometimes I run through them quite a lot. So we've got our two docs cases here as well, full of customs keys. This one says interchange, but really it's these interchange keys and then a bunch of random keys for reserve, and this labs key that I got the other day. Just generally where I store things, because I use this sick case when I'm in raid, because I can put more different things in here, like bitcoins, GP coins, skull rings and stuff like that, as well as all the keys I use on certain maps when I go. I have my pistol cases in case I want to do pistol runs, or like this setup here, have it as a secondary. So I've filled all these up with 5.7s and Glocks, because they're just the pistols I have at the moment. We've got our weapons cases, so we've got a fixed weapons case right here, full of guns, modded generally. This ASVAL isn't actually modded by me, it's just a Raider one. And then other guns, just random guns in the smaller weapons crate. Then I like to keep my weapons that I don't have room for in the weapons crate just in the next section. I've got a lot of room for weapons, but I also have too many. And then right at the bottom here is just generic stuff. So we've got our Lucky Scav junk box for all our barter items. We're saving some of these for certain trades, so the duct tape, the tape and the nails. The power cord is so I can get another sick case, so I don't have to transfer keys in and out so much. We're starting to collect other things like the fuel conditioner for the Red Rebel Ice Pick, because I never seem to find one. Gunpowder can be useful for crafting, as can the meds. The bolts and screw nuts are also for crafting because of making magazine cases, essentially. And then water filters, stuff for the hideout. So generally this is just where I keep all the barter items that I find useful. In my little second items case I have down here is my valuables, that I have called it. Generally, this is just all the streamer items for if I ever get to the Kappa container quest. So this is all the ones you need for the Kappa, as far as I'm aware. And when I get that quest, I can just hand them all in, because they're all found in raid, which is really nice. And I've got a pumpkin as well, because they only come up on Halloween, so I figured I'd save that. We have our bags within bags. This is just where I store my bags, all empty, just when I need a bag. Yeah, that's where they go. I keep my armor and rigs up the top here. I don't really have many right now. I just have the Ushankas and Scav Vest for another quest. I use water here just to fill out some gaps because nothing fits nicely. My magazine cases, pretty self-explanatory, just filled with magazines for the guns. We have our ammo cases separated in different categories, so I use 308 a lot, so I have a 308 ammo case. My 9mm, which really is just pistol rounds or small bullets. We have our other, which is for everything else. The VSS Val ammo, because I like that gun quite a lot. The POG ammo is expensive and really good ammo. So anything that's really good I keep in here. These should be down here. And then a shotgun one for shotgun shells. Pretty self-explanatory. I've got these other med case just full of spare things like these aluminium splints that are really useful because they're quick to apply and have 5 uses, and my grizzlies that I just use to heal my character outside of raid. So generally that's what I like to do to sort out my stuff. What you can do though, and it's kind of nice if you need to save space, if you still got the small small hideout and stuff, we can use this as an example. If you take off things like the magazine and the pistol grip, things take up a lot less space. So you can see that's what, 2 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can just take off pistol grip. That just takes off 1 slot, and then there's another 5. So you've gone from 10 slots to just 6. So if I was to really think about it and really want to save space, I'd be doing that with pretty much all my guns, so I can fit most if not all of them in there, but I've got the space for now, so I don't have to. Some guns like the P90 you won't be able to do it with, but some guns it's really useful to do it with anyway. For example, we can use an MP, I'm sure we have an MP7 somewhere. Thought we did. Yeah, here we go. So this is a nice tip for when you're in raid as well as in your hideout. So if guns like the MP7, the MP5, and I think the MP9, I might have to check that. When they have one of these longer mags in, they'll be like this. You can fold them, some of them, to make them smaller. But if you take out the mag, you don't even have to take off the pistol grip to make them just smaller. So this actually really helps when you're looting, because it takes up so little space. And then if you don't like the ammo in it or don't need the magazines, you can just dump them and then carry more stuff. So you can see how it can be really useful in terms of space saving. But yeah, that's just how I like to sort out my stash. Hopefully you find this useful, hopefully you find it interesting. If I can think up anything else that I'd like to do in my stash, or you have any questions, just let me know and I'll try and answer it. Maybe in the next Tarkov tips video, when we find something else we can talk about, give some more tips. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little second kind of video to kind of complement the Raid with the Toxicity series, and I shall see you another day.